Hello everyone. Before this I have told you all that how by the different policies Britishers controlled the maximum portion of our country India. Now we shall discuss two great wars which were fought against British. First was the war with Mysore. This took place between 1767 to 1799, and second one was the Anglo-Maratha War. Anglo-Maratha Wars. Three wars were fought. This took place between the 1775 to 1818. In these both battles, at last British won and they got the control over the areas of the Mysore as well as the territories of the Marathas. And after these wars, we can say British power became the paramount or the supreme power in the India. So first one, war with the Mysore. Mysore emerged as a powerful state under the leadership of the Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan. Hyder Ali was the father of the Tipu Sultan. So, Hyder Ali started to modernize his army with the help of the French officials. After some time, Hyder Ali died. After the death of the Hyder Ali, his son Tipu Sultan followed the same policy. It was the Tipu Sultan who eliminated all the intermediators, or we can say he eliminated all the dalals which were among the state and the cultivator, so that revenue of the state can be increased. It was the Tipu Sultan only who restricted or controlled the spice trade of the British through the Malabar coast. And as Tipu Sultan restricted the spice trade of the British through the Malabar coast, this led a conflict between the British and the Tipu Sultan. So, as a result of it, four wars, 1767 to 1799, four wars were fought. Four wars were fought. Three wars were there without any result. In the year of 1792, a treaty was signed that came to be known as the Treaty of Seringapatam. But this treaty was also unable to fulfill the goals of the British. So fourth and the final battle took place in the year of 1799. And in this battle, Tipu Sultan died. And finally the area of the Mysore came under the control of the British. Now, Marathas, Anglo-Maratha Wars. After the defeat of Marathas in the third battle of the Panipat, which took place in the 1761. So, Anglo-Maratha Wars, this took place between the 1775 to 1818. This third battle of Panipat took place in the year of 1761, and this battle was fought between the Marathas and the Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali. So in this third battle of the Panipat, Marathas were defeated by the Afghan ruler. So after the defeat of the Marathas in the third battle of the Panipat, their power reduced a lot. And now the position of the Peshwa was not as much supreme as it was before the battle of the Panipat. Now Maratha power divided into the various confederacies like the Sindhiyas, Holkars, Gaikwad and the Bhosle. So Britishers want to control the whole part of the India, so they fought three wars with the Marathas. So first war took place in the year of the 1775 to 1782. In this battle, no one got the clear victory. Second war took place in the year of the 1803 to 1805. This war took place because Peshwa Bajirao II signed subsidiary alliance or signed a treaty with the British, that was the subsidiary alliance, but other Maratha chiefs like the Sindhiyas, Holkars, Bhosle and Gaikwad, they were against it, so fight took place. Now, third Anglo-Maratha war took place in the year of the 1815 to 1818. This was the final battle. In this battle, Britishers defeated the Marathas and whole Maratha power came under the control of the British. So, this was all how Britishers controlled the whole part of the India. Now, setting up new administrations. As we are knowing, East India Company came to India for the trade purpose and its main aim was to make trade with the India. Before this, in the East India Company, there were the British officials who were doing all the duties. But slowly and gradually, these British officials started to gain more profit through the trade and they become rich. So, company officials were worried, as well as the government of the England was also worried that if officials of the company will be so much rich like this, so maybe possible they can interfere in the political affairs of the country or of the England also. So, to regulate the working of the officials of the company, Regulating Act of 1773 came into existence. So, Regulating Act of 1773. There were few provisions of the Regulating Act of the 1773. First one, Governor General of Bengal. Governor General of Bengal became the Governor General of India. Second one, for the support of this Governor General of the Bengal, 4 officials were appointed or 4 directors were appointed, and decision related to any matter was taken by the majority of the votes. Besides that, Supreme Court was set up in the Calcutta. Yes, Supreme Court was set up in the Calcutta. But this regulating act of the 1773 was unable to fulfill the desire of the Britishers. Why? Because I have already told you that four officials or four directors were there for taking any decisions. So often these four directors were fighting with each other, and as a result of that, Regulating Act of 1773 came to an end. Now, to shortcome or to overcome the problems faced by the Regulating Act of the 1773, Pitt's India Act came. Pitt's India Act. According to this Pitt's India Act, once again the Governor of General of the Bengal became the Governor General of the India, and Governor Generals of the Madras and the Bombay were made the subordinate or the helping hand of the Governor General of the Bengal. Now, secondly, the four directors which were there earlier, in that now decision was taken by the Governor General of Bengal only. Means what decisions were taken by the four directors of the company or four directors of the board. If Governor General of Bengal want, he can change their decisions. Now, for the political purpose, company has to be dependent on the British government. So as a result of that, the working of the company was little bit good. Now, for governing the Indian territories, there were three pillars of the British government. First one was the army, second one was the police, and third one was the civil services. So army. The army of the British was well disciplined, well trained also. In this army, recruitments were made from the Bihar, Bengal, Banaras, etc. But in the army, for the Indians, there were not too much opportunity because Indians were denied to go to the higher post. Higher posts were reserved for the British only. Now police. See one more thing. Police and the civil services, these were given to India, these both came to India by the Lord Cornwallis. So police, for the purpose of the law and order in all the areas, thanas were established under the charge of the Daroga. Various thanas were under the control of the British administration. Now, civil services. Civil services also came to India by the Lord Cornwallis. Till the year of the 1853, in the civil services, recruitments were made by the board of the directors. But after 1853, recruitments were made through the written examinations. But in the civil services also, Indians were denied. Later on, this civil services was opened for the Indian also. But if any Indian was clearing the civil service, they were not getting the higher post like the Britishers. They were getting the subordinate posts. Now, one more, which is the most important and the last topic of this chapter, that is the judiciary. For the purpose of the justice, several courts were established. In that courts, judges were there. But including the judges, there were the Maulvis and the Pandits. Why Maulvis were there? Because if any matter related to Muslims were there, Maulvis were giving their decisions, and if any matter related to Hindus were there, then Pandits were giving the decisions. In the year of the 1875, N.B. Halhed, what happened in this year? In this year, 11 Pandits yes, 11 Pandits compiled the summary of the Hindu religious books, and that all summaries were translated into English by N.B. Halhed in the 1875, so that it could be easier for the British to give their decisions in case of the Hindus. So this was all about the chapter. Now in the next video, in the next video we shall write down the question answers and other exercise of the chapter. Bye bye my dear students.